An AEW star is leaving the company. We got some big WWE WrestleMania news. Nick Khan speaking out on ESPN today. It is March 30th, 2023, and I'm going to keep you guys updated with all of the big stories surrounding the internet. But I do want to kick things off from something that happened on AEW Dynamite. We're talking about Don Callis. If you guys are not familiar with what happened during Dynamite, Don Callis was involved in a backstage segment with the BCC and Hangman Page, and he got his ass beat. And unfortunately, Don Callis was actually legitimately injured. And it's not what I want to see. First of all, this segment, the BCC, the Hangman Page, the Elite stuff, I've been saying it for a week now, maybe 3 weeks now. I don't know. March 16th is when I talked about it. This is the best storyline that AEW has had in a very, very long time. And Don Callis is a major part of that. And you guys know the premise of this channel, personal health always comes before wrestling. So when it comes to people getting injured and stuff like that, whatever the case may be, I always say I want them to be taken care of first because the wrestling stuff can wait. I don't know if this is really going to impact AEW in any way possible, any way of shape or form. Like, I don't know if that is something that we need to be worried about, but he was all bloodied up. People were saying that it looked pretty bad, but also at the same time too, I just want to see Don Callis come back. You know, that's it. I think he's so instrumental in everything that's happening with Kenny and Hangman and the Elite. And BCC's heel turn has been absolutely excellent. And again, I want Don Callis to get healthy, get healed up, come back. Let's continue making the storyline so incredibly good because this is what AEW needed. This is the type of stuff we've been asking for. And honestly, I just feel really intrigued. I cannot wait to see what happens next. Best wishes to Don Callis. All right, with that being said, guys, it's time to turn our attention to WWE WrestleMania news. We got 4 major topics here. We're going to kick things off with the WrestleMania card. It was announced on ESPN, the matches for night 1 and the matches for night 2. We know that Austin Theory and John Cena is opening up with the United States Championship for night 1. Also, after that, we have the SmackDown Women's Championship, Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley. The Undisputed Tag Team Championship, the Usos versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. We also know that the 6-women tag match is Trish Stratus, Becky Lynch, and Lita versus Damage Control, Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky. And then we also get a singles match between Seth Rollins and Logan Paul. This is a stacked card. However, they still have night 2. Night 2 is going to be pretty amazing. But also, just want to point this out. They do have the singles match with Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio, and then the men's fatal 4-way also on night 1. Moving on to night 2, you have Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes, which is headlining. Bianca Belair versus Asuka. Gunther, Sheamus, and Drew McIntyre for the Intercontinental Championship. Then they have Edge versus Demon Balor in Hell in a Cell. We have a singles match between Brock Lesnar and Omos. And then, of course, we have the women's fatal 4-way tag team showcase match with Raquel, Liv, Natalya, Shotzi, Ronda, Shayna, Sonya, and Chelsea Green. Night 1 and night 2, I feel like it's pretty balanced, but I'm just going to go out here and say that night 1 is probably going to have a very, 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 very good night of action. Honestly, both of these nights are going to be great, but I really look at this night 1 card and I'm just thinking like, man, I'm super geeked about it. This is a good time period, man. This is WrestleMania, night 1, night 2. I think it's pretty balanced. Again, I'm more in favor of night 1. But also at the same time, too, I just think both cards will deliver. I'm excited to see what WWE does here. I don't think there's really much more to say about that, but we do got to talk about Nick Khan because Nick Khan is talking about WWE WrestleMania on ESPN on First Take, and he says to expect some major surprises, and this is exciting news, obviously, for tons of reasons. WWE planning big surprises for WrestleMania. I know Snoop Dogg is probably going to be involved. For the longest time, there's been a storyline on the internet with Snoop Dogg, and it's kind of boiled over onto television in some aspects as well, with his WWE championship that was stolen from him, but then it got returned, and then other people are having it. So yes, celebrity involvement as well. Also, it was confirmed that Lil Uzi Vert was going to be involved in WrestleMania in some capacity because there was an image that was going around on social media where it looked to be pretty legit. And that is essentially the image of maybe his locker room or whatever it may be. So maybe Lil Uzi Vert's a musical guest. Maybe they do something with him being in the crowd. At the end of the day, it's WrestleMania. It's Hollywood. Obviously, people in the music industry, actors, I expect them to all be involved in some way, shape, or form. And then also, I mean, look back at what happened with Tyson Fury at Clash at the Castle. Something like that could very much happen here at WrestleMania, where somebody gets knocked out from the crowd. Maybe Jake Paul gets involved in Logan Paul's match. I mean, I expect some big things to happen. Plus, we don't know what's going on with The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Maybe WWE resorts to bringing back Hulk Hogan. Please, WWE, don't do that. You don't need to. But really, the big surprises are coming to WrestleMania. I'm super excited. Nick Khan doing a hell of a job doing the media rounds this week, because he has gotten me very excited about WWE WrestleMania 39. And then that leads us to Vince McMahon, which Vince McMahon is reportedly going to be at WWE WrestleMania 39. Is he working creative? All these things that people are talking about, I don't know. There's no confirmation on that. It's just the word that's going around is that Vince McMahon is expected to be at WrestleMania. And I don't want to spend too much time talking about Vince McMahon being at WrestleMania, because quite honestly, I don't care if Vince McMahon's at WWE WrestleMania. I know there's a difference between Triple H booking and Vince McMahon booking. You can clearly tell when you watch the product. Vince McMahon is the CEO of the company. Whether we like it or not, he's in the company. He came back to the company. Do I expect him to run WrestleMania? No. Do I expect him to miss out on WrestleMania? Absolutely not. I would expect him to be there. So it is expected that Vince McMahon will, in fact, be there. Now, will he actually make an appearance on TV? That, on the other hand, is a very, very interesting thing that I just don't think WWE will be doing just yet. Also, keep in mind, WWE is for sale, so they could always try to be talking to different salespeople. Maybe Disney's there, maybe Endeavor's there, whatever it may be. You know what I'm getting with. Guys, Dave Meltzer openly talking about Brian Cage leaving AEW. And this is a pretty big backstage update. We've been following the Brian Cage story for a while. Basically, Dave Meltzer has come out and basically said that he is working without a contract. Pretty much his deal is done, right? So his deal was already expired. He agreed to work ROH Supercard of Honor before finishing up. And that is if he actually is finishing up, because it was also hinted that a new deal could still be reached, though the ball very much appears to be in Cage's court on that. So if that's the case, obviously, then we know he is leaving AEW for sure. But as of right now, he is not with AEW. He's not with ROH. I think Brian Cage will always be one of those guys who should have done way more in AEW. That's just the truth. I truly believe Brian Cage could have done more in AEW. Whether he stays or whether he goes, I don't know. Meltzer says he could be on his way out because he's not under contract. But if he's not under contract and he's working with AEW and ROH, I mean, that's a good thing, right? Like, that's a good thing that you have people. It goes back to the thing with Jon Moxley last year, not being contracted, but holding the championship belt and still working. It could all be a different story. We could be talking about these guys holding AEW and ROH hostage, but that's not what they're doing. So ultimately, I think Brian Cage could be booked better if he does stay with ROH and AEW. I hope that he is. I hope that we get to see more out of him. He was a great world champion in Impact, and I don't feel like we saw that Brian Cage in AEW. That's just my opinion. I'm not telling you to change how you feel, but that's how I see it. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below.